So, as some of you may already know, Super, Tuper, whatever you want to call it, that anime, it was being planned. It was a thing. But the problem is that Toriyama, supposedly, wasn't ready with the script. Yeah, really. And when Haverock and I heard that, we felt really surprised. Not because Toriyama is possibly procrastinating with the script itself. No. He's been well known for that, and since he is the big cheese now, and has been for a long time, nobody is going to rush him personally. But for what we're facing right now, this could be a slippery slope. Two things before we continue. First off, if you want to have a better understanding on why we are talking and why I've made this video, and why a new series of Dragon Ball makes sense from multiple points of view, you can check out this video here. In short, we social influencers can see the bottom line and what this series can do for it. And secondly, please watch Geekdom's video on the state of play with Dragon Ball Super right now, as it's really good in illustrating everything as it's going down. And this was the content that got us, Haverock especially, to feel the need and the necessity to elaborate on our original video. One of the key things that Geekdom pointed out, and it's quite a valid thing, is that because it seems like the show's original creator, Akira Toriyama, has not come back to Toei with further notes in a timely fashion. Toriyama has indeed shown similar instances of this in the past, leaving things down to the wire when it comes to providing chapter by chapter stuff. They are waiting on Toriyama's every word, and they don't want to go it alone and risk something along the lines of Dragon Ball GT happening, because the internet never forgets. They don't want another Dragon Ball GT happening where Toriyama had no ongoing involvement with the writing staff. It was just some initial design and some little tidbit here and there. On one hand, you can appreciate the fact that they don't want another GT situation. It's a fair idea, and it shows that this is a company that is aware of its past and keen not to have history repeating itself. Credit where credit's due there. But now that we know, as predicted obviously, that the current Super manga, the Galactic Prisoner Arc, or otherwise known as the Moro Arc, was, mostly, conceptualized by the likes of Toriyama's apprentice, Toyotaro. This then begs the question, why aren't you using this script? After all, Toyotaro is very close with Toriyama, albeit not really actually working in the same room most of the time, in terms of story ideas. I mean, he has to be, so why not trust him with this? The Moro arc has been going down very well with the fandom, who have been keeping a close eye on the manga, and the latest few chapters especially, where we are heading towards this arc's conclusion, have hit their marks very well indeed. Especially when it comes to making Yamcha look like one cool guy, and that all of the memes before it never existed. That's a very big deal. Why not just work with this and set in motion adapting this arc into animated form? In fact, we'd be going back to what Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, pretty much most animes that have a manga version do. Just work from the manga. Having one cohesive narrative that the manga and anime share. You know, instead of what Super was already doing, having two separate narratives and then going from the same spark notes, it was just a mess. Maybe by doing this could buy you lots some time for Toriyama to finish what he needs to do in his own time, or at least make good progress. That means you can make a start on what's going forward. Add some anime-exclusive filler to proceedings to buy you even more time. It's not uncommon, but something that's really concerning Haverock and I is this. Why do the higher-ups seem to have so little faith in this story, which is being greatly praised of as of late? Now, don't get us wrong. Toyotaro is a pretty eyebrow-raising author, and his time at the helm of the manga has been wrought with mistakes and issues and questions in judgment. We still have his treatment of the Tournament of Power to consider here, and the whole Captain America thing in mind. But to say that he hasn't grown as an artist, as an author, as a storyteller, that's just simply not fair. He has come on leaps and bounds, and once you could let him go and take more control, I guarantee you, he will flourish even more than he already has done. The designs of the deities of the other universes in the Tournament of Power arc, that was handled by both Toyotaro and Toriyama, and they were all pretty good in our eyes, so it was a very nice step forward for the creative duo that they could work together. Toriyama there clearly trusted his pupil in that regard. And besides, how can he keep on getting better if the higher-ups won't allow him to do so, to give him a chance? If he's always going to be reminded that whatever he creates will be subpar to the great and illustrious Toriyama, then what would be the point to innovate or even just try? Just go through the motions, really. Just collect the paycheck at the end of the day, just shelve all those dreams that you had when you were a kid writing these mangas and your fan stories. You know, completely forget that you were a person named Toybull back in the day. Just give up. Speaking out to any of you out there who feel like you could do wonders if you were given the chance in your own career, I feel you, and I'm sure that Toyotaro does right now. To be fair though, and this is both of our opinion, we are both having way more fun with the Moro arc than some of the stuff Toriyama has written and drawn in the Super manga preceding it. You know, having the two stories just meshing not well with the anime and stuff. No, this feels more concrete. Something has come alive here, and the fact that we are dealing with a magically strong opponent in the form of Moro that Goku and Vegeta cannot obviously defeat through hitting them really hard is pretty great. Using a vertical character strategy in bringing back old foes for side characters? That's excellent! Make use of the show's legacy, there's a lot of it. This is exactly what a lot of us in the West especially like to see. Now, okay, don't get us wrong here. These stories aren't wholly perfect. Toyotaro's chapters aren't usually some of the most original or inventive arcs of the story. There are some examples of copying various panels from the originals, but to be fair, Toriyama has historically done this too, when pushed for time. And the story kind of takes a lot from the Marvel Universe too, with Moro being a very Western comic book type of villain, but it does so in a very fun way, you know. It's not a bad thing. It also shows that the story of Dragon Ball is now trying more actively to appeal to an international audience, instead of just Japan and then us making do with what we've got, or what happened ages ago, and perish the thought, localization. And besides, no one minded that much when Toriyama alluded to the Terminator movies so many times in the Android saga, now did they? So to us, it seems like something perturbing might occur off the back of all of this. If Super ever does come back, 2021, whatever, does this mean that the Moro arc could be entirely skipped or just forgotten about? It was just a one and done? To me, that would be a real shame. The arc when Super started to not only be decent, but actually good? We've had those instances before, and they helped keep Super on an upward trajectory, turning points. There was the Goku Black arc, the early Tournament of Power stuff, and now the Moro arc are those afterburner moments which propelled Super further up the path of improvement. Yes, of course, it would have been nice to see Super be good from the start, but we've got to work with what we got here. We are fans of the show, and we want to see it do well, and it is doing well with Moro. With the Moro arc, you feel that Toyotaro is being pretty reactive and aware of both Eastern and Western audiences, and I think that should not be completely ignored. It feels like Toyotaro is paying attention to the overall feel for the storyline here, and is responding in his own way. And yes, I know, I hear you. This is not like how Toriyama did so years ago. He used to deliberately do the opposite of what the fans wanted, being belligerent. But the current trend is causing more and more people to actually enjoy the Super story. At least it's keeping us guessing. And of course, sometimes too much fan service and bowing down to the fandom can be a bad thing, and maybe show that the artist is lacking personal integrity. But in this case, we really feel that the latest arc, it feels like a true passion project. Now, tell me everyone, how would it feel if we knew for certain that this scene would never be recreated for the anime? Compared to that, the whole Resurrection F thing, where we got a similar thing, feels positively anemic. I think Toei needs to give this story a chance on the small screen. We know that it hasn't ended yet, and things could easily fall apart, or the ending may not be that good, but from what we've seen so far, this story more than deserves to be adapted. It deserves to have voices put to it. It deserves to be shown on the TV and on streaming. Toriyama has given us a good egg in Toyotaro, and this should be nurtured ever further. I'm pretty sure that the artistic team behind the production of the anime, voice, animation, all that, would make this an unforgettable spectacle. Especially if it's true, they're going along the lines of Shintani's style for Super in the future if they ever bring it back, that we enjoyed so much in the Broly movie. So please, if someone related to Toei is watching this, by any chance, give Toyotaro's chapter some credit here. We can guarantee that a lot of the viewers will enjoy it, and if you are afraid of people comparing Super or this arc to GT, just stop. Don't worry about it. People are going to compare Super with GT anyway. Just like comparisons with Dragon Ball Z, there are going to be people comparing everything new to GT. You can never please everybody, and although we wish him a long and healthy life and more creative ideas, Toriyama's not going to be writing Dragon Ball for you forever, and not utilising the Dragon Room to its fullest extent is a real shame. It's a disappointment, because that was the whole reason that it was created in the first place. This was there to plan for the time when Toriyama may not want to work on this full time, or even what he's doing right now. He might want to pass the torch on and just casually observe and point out stuff here and there when he feels like it. The Broly movie should have shown you that Dragon Ball has never been hotter than at the time of its release. And the longer that you wait and let all of this just kind of pass you by, the less relevant Dragon Ball will be. Yes, I know, some of you must be thinking that I'm really trying to scrape the bottom of the barrel here, but again, I really want Super to do well. I'm pretty sure that you guys want to see Dragon Ball succeed. And in the entire international market, it is doing so. The Macy's Parade, I know I keep going on about it, but that is a huge sign that popular culture around the world is embracing Dragon Ball. Whereas maybe 10, 15 years ago, it was trying to shun it away from the Western world. I want to show my kids Dragon Ball and at least just give them a chance to see what it was and how it evolved. And I'm sure that you guys would want to do that too. Anyway, what do you all think about this? Would you want to see the Moro arc adapted? Vote up top, and thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next video. Catch you later.